Like Matt Gutman saw.
Holes have been punched through the doors. Right here we can see a door that's been ripped in half right next to this bathroom.
In the kitchen, cookware on the counter, a bottle of Pepso next to cans of baby food, dishes still in the sink. Overnight, the FBI had turned the home back to its owner, who allowed reporters into his rental property. The FBI had already removed all the evidence they needed. A list on a coffee table of items seized, Christmas lights, an SD card, and dozens of boxes of ammunition. Upstairs in the baby's room, diapers, open suitcases, a bin with shredded paper, and a prayer rug. And there in the closet, a few shirts, gun cleaner, and pairs of baby shoes. The baby is now in the care of Child Protective Services. The house shows little evidence of the deadly attack they had allegedly planned at the Inland Regional Center. That attack began on Wednesday at 11 a.m. when the couple reportedly entered through a patio door, unloading at least 65 rounds.
We have several down in the conference room, several down.
According to survivors, the death toll could have been much higher, in part because the workers were just re-entering the conference room after a break when the shooting started. Salahin Kondakar's wife, Anissa, was there.
So she was sitting with her friend, talking, almost break time finish.
Just as she was about to re-enter the conference room from the bathroom, the world changed.
Then at that time, bullets start flying.
She was shot 4 times.
So 2 bullets hit straight above her head to the wall. Then she saw her hand bleeding from the right hand, and the bleeding also happening here, and some minor bleeding happening from the
So she was hit on her arm?
On the right arm, and right here, one right here, and one here.
In her stomach. The killing focused just where she had been sitting moments before.
It was screaming and pop sound like, multiple gunshots. And if she, let's say 30 seconds prior, if she finished restroom, she could have been gone there, sitting there and got killed. Because all the people she was sitting with, they are killed.
All dead.
All dead.
Anissa and her husband are Muslim and worshipped here at the same mosque that Saeed Farouk attended from 2012 to 2014. Today, disbelief mixed with prayer.
I know.
Do you recall him?
I know him very well.
Very well. Mustafa Kuko is director of the mosque. He told us Farouk came faithfully, twice daily, sought his counsel about his future bride.
He was not looking for, say, beauty or money or fame or name or whatever. He's looking for a religious woman. He's someone who has a religious commitment, yeah.
A Muslim woman of strong faith.
Muslim, exactly.
So strong, she kept her face covered, even among family members who say they never saw her face.
The men did not interact with her, and the brothers did not actually ever see her face. They've never seen her face because she did wear a burqa. So they just knew her. Yeah, she was totally covered.
Also very devout, friends and acquaintances say Saeed Farouk was a loner, quiet, kept to himself.
He is not someone who looks for confrontation or get into disputes,
In talking to some of his co-workers, they describe a similar person. Very nice, but very reserved, very quiet. So even here at the mosque, he was the same way.
The same way.
Quiet, reserved, stay to himself.
The same way. That's true. That's true. He's staying to himself, very much to himself, And probably I'm the only one who used to talk to him more than anyone else,
Today before Friday prayers, Kuko says he doesn't recognize the man who murdered 14 people.
He's a very different person from the person who did this crime. Very different person.
We talked about suicide bombing. We talked about things that tarnish the image.
And he thought it was wrong.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Tonight, Muslims across the nation and in San Bernardino itself strongly condemning the couple's action.
The taking of lives of innocent people is absolutely unacceptable.
And his family apologizing tonight for the man who caused so much pain.
I just want to say that we're sorry for their loss. We can't begin to imagine what, they're going through.
Knowing that somebody lost their, husband and wife, it's just a horrible feeling, and we are extremely sad.
Our Byron Pritz reporting from San Bernardino. Thanks, Byron. Up next for us, the jaw-dropping story of a seemingly happy couple that turned from madly in love to sheer madness of a murder-for-hire plot. Or was it? Captured headlines and the nation's imagination. Seemingly happy newlyweds whose love morphs into an alleged murder-for-hire mystery in just 6 short months. Now the accused Florida woman is speaking out, telling her version of the story tonight. Here's ABC's Amy Robach.
Mr. Polito, is your husband Michael?
Her road to infamy began with this video. It looks like police telling Dalia DiPolito her husband of just 6 months was murdered.
Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, man. He's been killed.
But watch closely, because nothing in this case is what it seems.
Trying to calm down.
Turns out police are duping Dalia. That whole crime scene It's fake. Police claim Dahlia ordered a hit on her husband and that they have hidden camera video to prove it.
Nobody's gonna be able to point a finger at me. There's like 5,000% sure.
She is the Boynton Beach newlywed, caught on tape taking a contract out on her husband.
Police staged a fake murder scene.
Dahlia DiPolito.
When people hear the name Dahlia DiPolito, what do you think comes to mind?
Everything negative. All the headlines, the person they're describing, it's definitely not me.
Her downfall began, she says, the day she met what she thought was her dream man.
What was your initial impression of Mike DiPolito?
Charming. Felt a really strong connection.
Mike had a Porsche, seemed to have plenty of money, and a nice new condo. What better setup to start a new life?
I would say I was naive.
But police say after just 6 months of marriage, Dahlia has other men in her life who are helping her with a secret plan to get Mike's money, his condo, and get him out of the way. One of those men is in the front seat of this car.
She asked if I knew someone who can kill her husband for her.
The man, Mohammed Shahadi, was recorded as he talked to detectives.
Are you scared for the guy? Yes, because she's really, dead serious on getting this done.
To get proof, the cops make Mohammed a confidential informant. He arranges to meet Dahlia at this gas station.
This guy's professional. It's not.
Nobody's gonna be able to point a finger at me.
Mohammed tells Dahlia the hitman wants $1,200 to buy a gun. She comes prepared and gives him a photo of Mike.
Wipe my hands off the pictures.
2 days later, the talk turns to action in the CVS parking lot.
So I came here.
This is Witty Jean, an undercover police officer. Police say Dahlia thinks she is meeting an actual hitman in his cherry red convertible.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna do it, and when exactly it's gonna be done.
A burglary gone wrong that leaves Mike dead.
Everybody works in the daytime.
Right.
I'm gonna think he's at work. When he's not at work, then he gets 2 and a half between now and when it's done. You're not gonna have an option to change your mind, even if you change your mind.
No, there's no determinant already. I'm positive, 5,000% sure.
The TV show Cops has come to Boynton Beach. They'll be able to film the last part of the police investigation.
Detectives, they were going to stage this fake crime scene.
I hear a banging on the door.
Yes. Sergeant Sheridan, please. Your wife has hired a person to kill you.
I was very surprised.
They drive him away and transform the street to make it appear they're really investigating Mike's murder.
We're at your residence, ma'am. Can you come right back to your residence, please? Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, ma'am. He's been killed. He's been killed, ma'am. I'm sorry.
We know the cops are acting.
I can't let you say it, ma'am.
What about Dahlia?
I need you to take her to the station.
Are you sure that you don't know anybody that want to kill your husband? You're going to jail today for solicitation of murder. You're under arrest.
As she finally gets her day in court, charged with solicitation to commit murder, facing up to 30 years in prison.
You will see how determined she was to have Mike DiPolito, her husband, killed.
The motive, according to prosecutor Elizabeth Parker, is simple. She wanted his money. She even convinced him to transfer the title to his $250,000 condo into her name, and she wanted another man. Dahlia's trial lawyer, Michael Salnick, has a defense, and it's unforgettable.
It was never anyone's intention to harm anyone. It was a stunt. It was a hoax.
It was a plot to get on television, a reality TV defense. Salnick tells the jury that Dahlia, Mohammed, and Michael were working together to try to land themselves as stars in reality TV.
Absolutely not. That's a lie.
As for the mysterious Mohammed Shahade, what does he make of all of this? He declined to do an interview with us. He has denied working on a video with Dahlia and Mike.
Judge, the defense is going to rest.
It took just 3 hours to reach a verdict.
We find the defendant guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder.
But then, Dahlia's Hail Mary prayer for an appeal was answered. A Florida judge ruled the jury wasn't selected properly and ordered a new trial.
Were you surprised?
It's the first piece of good news throughout the whole process that I received.
Because it is a pre-trial interview, her newly hired high-profile lawyers, Mark Eiglarsh and Brian Claypool, wouldn't let her talk about certain parts of the case, in particular, those seemingly damning videotapes.
Wipe my hands off the pictures.
How do you explain what we have all seen and heard on those videotapes?
I'd like to be able to explain that to you right now, but I can't because the attorneys legally have told me that we're saving that for our day in court.
You were acting in those tapes?
Yes.
But you're telling the truth now?
Yes.
Why should we believe you?
Because it's what happened. It's the truth.
Dahlia says 6 years after those videos made her the poster woman for how not to hire a hitman, she is still completely misunderstood.
Give me 3 words to describe yourself.
Understanding, sweet, and compassionate.
Mike DiPolito, now happily divorced from Dahlia, has his own set of choice words.
3 words to describe Dahlia. Manipulative, conniving. I got more than 3. Malicious. Liar, liar, liar.
Did you ever love Mike DiPolito?
I married him because I loved him.